Hi students, Mrs. Jarvis here. Today I would like to talk about changing fractions into decimals and ordering rational numbers. Okay, if your teacher asks you to order some rational numbers, such as least to greatest, when you're dealing with negative 0.5, negative absolute value of 0.6, and negative 9/20. Okay, well, what I noticed first off is that these two are both decimals. This one, however, is not. It's going to be helpful for me to go ahead and switch this one into a decimal. So I'm going to do that by putting my top dog into the doghouse. I always remember that because occasionally students want to put the larger number in, and that's not the way to go. You need to remember that you put whichever number is your top dog or your numerator. So I'm going to put my top dog in the doghouse and 20 outside. Now, 20 is not going to go into 9. So I'm going to put a decimal and a 0. I'm going to bring my decimal straight up into my quotient. Now, 20 will go into 90. Let's go ahead and try 4 times. 4 times 20 gives me 80, and I'm left with 10. Now I can go ahead and add one more 0 and bring that 0 down. I now have 100. Well, I know that 20 goes into 100 5 times. 20 times 5 is 100 with no remainder. So what that means is that my negative 9/20 is the same thing as negative 0.45 or 45 hundredths. So if I'm trying now to order from least to greatest, and it's always important to note whether the teacher's asking for least to greatest or greatest to least, because sometimes that can trick you. So this time we're ordering from least to greatest. Now when I talk about negative numbers, remember that the larger the negative number appears, it's actually further to the left on the number line. So as I'm looking at 0.45, 0.6, and 0.5, I can see that my negative 0.6 is actually my smallest value. Now, it's important that we also make note that the absolute value of this is 0.6. However, they're asking for the opposite, so I know that this actually means negative 0.6. So my negative 0.6 is my smallest. I'm done with that one. Now it's between my negative 0.5 and my negative 0.45. It may help you to add a 0 onto the end here to really visualize that this is actually negative 0.50, almost like you owe 50 cents versus you owe only 45 cents. So you actually have less if you owe 50 cents. So that one is going to go next. And last but not least, my negative 0.45 will be my greatest value. Now, your teacher may require that you list these using the original values. And if so, then just make sure that when you list them, you've listed them looking as they appeared in the original problem. Just like that. Okay, students, I hope that this has been helpful for you today with changing fractions into decimals and ordering rational numbers. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher.